The entire cryptocurrency market is on the brink of a major reversal, and today we're going to be going over the exact levels that cryptocurrency has to break out of in order to reverse the bear market that we've been in for the past couple of months. Now, we're also going to be talking about everything that's happening in the news because there is so much technically on the chart and fundamentally in the news that is happening right now, and cryptocurrency is just ripping. I mean, a lot of cryptos are already up 20, 30, 40% on the day. A lot of the mainstream cryptos are up around 3, 4, 5%, and we're going to be taking a look at those as well, but stick around for this because some cryptos are already breaking out, and I want to talk about what Bitcoin and Ethereum and the entirety of the altcoin market cap are doing at these levels, especially as we are either breaking or approaching our most significant resistance levels here very, very soon. So let's take a look at this first on the board. We have Bitcoin up about 3%, Ethereum up about 3% as well. Most cryptocurrencies are, for the most part, in the green on the day. There's very few exceptions on this. Solana's up about 6%. And then the Cardano and Dogecoin also pulling out some pretty nice gains as well, as both of those guys are up about 8%. And I saw Axie Infinity up nearly 23.5% as well. So as we are looking at this, it's a very, very green day for crypto. And as you can see by the number of tabs I have pulled up over here, we have about 4 different news stories that are all very, very bullish on cryptocurrency as well. Some talk about regulation, some talk about adoption. But let's talk about what's happening on the chart here first, and then we'll talk about what's happening in the news here in just a second. But cryptocurrency across the board, Bitcoin and Ethereum leading these markets to where we are at right now, we're breaking out. I mean, we've talked about the couple of different resistance levels that we had, and I want to go ahead and draw up the support level that we've had on Bitcoin over here because we've had a pretty nice climbing level of support, and we've also had a pretty significant level of resistance, and Bitcoin is actively, and I truly mean actively and rapidly approaching this level of resistance where we had former support actually break and this turn into resistance. And this is something that we've been talking about on the channel for quite some time now, but I think the real breakouts are coming in the altcoins. You might be asking yourselves why. Well, we'll take a look here at Ethereum and also the total too, which is the entirety of the altcoin market cap. And Ethereum has now broken both secondary and primary resistance, meaning that it's well on its way to a reversal. A lot of people are calling this a W-like pattern, and they're not entirely wrong. I mean, this does look kind of like a W formation, does it not? And if this is the case, then Ws are typically reversal patterns and a sign that the bottom could very well be in. And this would be a pretty nice rounding bottom for both Bitcoin and Ethereum if this is indeed the end of all of the bearishness that we've seen. Now, the stock market is recovering as well, but let's talk about this resistance on Ethereum because Ethereum has now broken our secondary and our primary resistance, meaning if we were charting from the very beginning of this downtrend to where we are at right now, connecting all of the local highs, then this is where we would get ourselves. And if we were charting the immediate local highs, this is where we would get us. And for the time being, this could change by the time this video is posted, but for the time being, Ethereum is sitting above both of these. And for the total too, which is the entirety of the altcoin market cap, this guy broke out of its immediate or secondary resistance just a couple of days ago, or I guess it was about a week ago, but we can see that it broke out of this guy, and this was a really, really long-lasting resistance line. If we want to zoom out on this, we can see that this goes back to all the way towards the beginning of November, and ever since then it has actively been using this area as resistance and resistance and resistance, just time and time again, until ultimately this broke out. And now what do you know? Now we're going to our second level of resistance over here on the total 2, and this is a pretty unique one. This is actually something that I got to talk about in the Crypt Nation group chat on our Crypt Nation page. If you're not a part of that, I give all my technical analysis early and in a lot more detail over on the private Crypt Nation group. So if you want to join that, there's a link to that in the description down below. But I was talking about this weeks ago over in Crypt Nation, saying, look at the total 2. It's very clear that we're in a squeeze, and it's hard not to lean bullish in an area like this one. But with this happening, now we are connecting our primary resistance, our main overbearing resistance of this downtrend, going from the very top of this downtrend to the next swing high. And we can see that this guy is 1, 2, 3 different touch points, and we haven't gotten too close to touching this guy since December of last year, really towards the end of December, but now we are approaching this level and seeing just a bit of resistance. I think that if the altcoin market can break out of this guy, it's going to place itself in a really nice potential area, or at least in a really nice area to see some gains to the upside. So I am excited because if the altcoin market can break this, I think we could have a mini alt season. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but this is a big old squeeze. So I truly do hope that the altcoins can break out of this. Now, if you want to learn the actual price levels that I am looking at for things like Ethereum, I literally just posted my Ethereum price targets about where I think Ethereum has support and resistance levels on CryptNation as well. But let's go ahead and dive on into what's happening in the news, because in the news right now, India, we covered this one probably about a month or so ago, but India proposed crypto taxes, and it looks like they're likely to actually get passed and come into law as early as Thursday. Now, this is important because India has a, I'm trying to think of the correct way to put this. India doesn't have as much of a middle class as America has, but they have a very, very large population. In fact, they have one of the largest populations out of all of the different countries on the face of this earth. So if they were all of a sudden introduced to maybe a potential system that was bankless and gave everyone equal opportunity like cryptocurrency does because of its decentralized nature and different protocols, that could be a really, really bullish thing for India, seeming as they wanted to entirely ban it. And now they are going to be passing it into potential law as early as Thursday. So this could be big, you know. Buckle your seatbelts. Do I think that this is going to bring Bitcoin from $40,000 to $100,000 or $200,000 overnight? I extremely doubt it. As much as I would love that, I really do doubt it. But I think for the long-term growth of cryptocurrency, this is exactly what we want to see. Now, similar to this, we've seen a lot of articles like this one, basically just different states inside of the US trying to accept cryptocurrencies as a form of tax payments. And what we have is Florida is actually trying to be the next state on this list, as they are saying that there is no reason why businesses shouldn't be able to accept crypto for their state business taxes. So as you are continuing to look around about the different forms of regulation inside of the United States, make sure you realize that not all regulation is bad. I think this is a prime example of continuing solid, good regulation happening inside of the United States. And it also goes on to talk about how Colorado and Wyoming and Arizona all have very similar mines as well. And there's actually a couple other states in addition to these guys that are looking into this and that we've covered as well. And I don't want to spew off their names, but I believe Texas was one and I believe California was one, as different as those two states are. It seems like they tend to agree on crypto. Now, almost half of Germans are set to invest into cryptocurrency. A report showed that 44% of Germans are motivated to invest in the crypto, according to a report released by KuCoin. But what do experts have to think? Well, cryptocurrencies are very popular among the supporters of the accumulation strategy, especially among the younger generations, as they prefer to save for retirement on their own and diversify their savings through the use of cryptocurrencies. And I couldn't agree any more with this. Why would people ever, and I mean ever, there's all these like cool chart plans out there that's like, hey, if you invest and you get a 3 to 4 or 5% return every single year on your money, by the time you are 60, you will have $2.1 million. And what people never understand is that 2.1 million in USD by the time you're 60 is going to be worth extremely less than what it's worth right now. $2.1 million now is not what $2.1 million in 40, 50 years from now is going to be. And a lot of people don't understand that, hence why younger people do understand this, and they are looking to cryptocurrencies. Now, I'm not saying older people don't understand this, that's not what I'm saying at all, but I think there is a little bit more of understanding of how this technology works with people who are growing up with it, rather than people who are having to learn it from scratch as to priorly knowing different forms of of monetary systems. And so I think that's why it comes more naturally to young people, and they're also potentially more risk averse as well. Now, in very major news, the world's largest hedge fund is set to invest into cryptocurrency. Now, this goes back to the idea of Bridgewater trying to increase their exposure to digital assets, as the hedge fund of $150 billion will, they're looking into cryptos. Now, will they actually buy it or not? We'll see. They've said that they won't, and then they said that they will, but it looks like they actually want to have some sort of exposure to cryptocurrency. This means that the now largest monetary group of the world, the largest hedge fund in the world, is now seeing the benefits of cryptocurrency and the long-term potential that it has. Otherwise, they would not even be batting an eye at it. So if the largest hedge fund in the world, worth $150 million, is saying, hey, there's probably something long-term to this, we should add this to our portfolio, we should have some sort of exposure to this, then it looks like they're going to be. Now, whether that exposure is going to come by directly buying cryptocurrency assets like Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever it is, or whether they're going to be investing in cryptocurrency related assets, is kind of where the discussion truly is around right now. Because right now the idea for them is, we're not sure if we're risk averse enough to get into purchasing actual cryptocurrency assets, or if we want to be purchasing cryptocurrency related companies and either owning them or adding them to our portfolio as stock shares. And so there's a lot of discussion going around exactly how they want to gain exposure into blockchain based assets, but that's what they're really figuring out. Either way, I see this as a win for the space as well. What this really does is help tie down the idea that crypto has longevity and scalability, and big money are making long-term plays with it, which is what we like to see around the board. So as we continue this great cryptocurrency rally that we are seeing on this fine ending to our week, I hope all of you guys are having a great day. Make sure all of you have a fun and safe weekend as we are coming to the end of March here. But if you guys are new to the channel, consider subscribing, consider smacking that like button. It really does help this video get out, and really the channel as a whole get out to more people. And if you like this content, consider subscribing. I make content like this, about 2 to 3 videos a week, every single week. And we are always staying up to date on what's happening on both the charts and the news and everything that's happening in cryptocurrency, so that you don't have to do the hours of research. I tend to like to save everyone the time and do that in the most unbiased way possible. I guess really the only thing that we are biased about on this channel is the long-term potential that cryptocurrency has in the most bullish way possible. So I hope all of you guys did have a great time with this video, and until next time, I will see you all very, very soon.